Oh, you're welcome. This isn't Yuri's water.
This is yours.
No, he didn't touch it.
Just real quick, before we start, for the transcriber, just real clearly and loudly, your name and your position on the production.
I'm Leo Chu, and I'm a screenwriter and producer of the English version.
Eric Garcia, also the producer on the English language version, and a screenwriter.
Cool, thank you so much.
I would dearly love to know what inspired this incredible mashup of something that Yuri just said we never knew we absolutely needed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a great thing.
Because two of my favorite things, Batman and feudal era Japan, come on, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So please.
Well, thank you. I have to say the inspirations for everything on this project is the visuals. Like, anime is so visually driven. Like, the origins of it is manga, as you know. And so it's all about visual storytelling and those visual things. And a huge part of our job is to take the visuals and just sort of the audacity of it, and
give it a story.
And give it a story, and give it a narrative, and give themes, and like an arc for Batman. I would say in the Japanese version, the dialogue is pretty much different than what is in this version. So I'm very curious to see how people react to the two different versions.
Are both versions going to be available?
Yes. They'll be released on the same thing. Like, I think they're going to bundle them together for people to see.
Both on the DVD, and we heard just now that it would be also on the streaming too.
Oh, fantastic!
They would have both because it's kind of like it's important to know what it is and see what those differences are.
Yeah.
But I mean, just on his point was the there's such a language to animate. So all of those ideas and tropes and things like that. I mean, that's the language. That's how the stories are told.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was an awesome challenge to put all the Robins, in there and to make a single story out of that, which is crazy.
And that was our fun discovery process. I was like, oh, there's Robin. Oh, wait, there's Red Robin. Oh, there's Nightwing. Oh, there's Red Hood, who used to be a Robin. And it's like, wait a second. Like, they're all in here. Yeah.
We first started building ours with the storyboards. The storyboards would come through in a very literal translation of it, and then we're like trying to just kind of make sense of it. It's like what is actually happening, and then what is the themes and the bigger elements that we could pull out.
What was difficult is the translation was literally 6 pages of dialogue just run down, and you had no exact idea as to where they went.
And no description, like in a screenplay description of what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and
so we had to write that first.
Yeah.
So there's a growing anime audience. Well, it's huge now, and it's stateside.
Yeah.
It didn't used to be when I was in high school. It was just the nerds
No, it's
like
very
me.
niche. Yeah.
But so there's more and more anime coming stateside, a larger market for it. But still, there is some issue trying to get Japanese animation to stateside. What is going to work? What's not going to work? What about this, other than the character of Batman, really made you guys think it would appeal to a Western audience?
Well, what's interesting is the origins of the project, as I understand it, is that it was originally conceived like the idea of actually doing a Batman anime from Warner Brothers Japan. And then they explained to Warner Brothers that it's a great way to sort of open up the door to Batman and sort of give inroads for Batman in Japan, because he's not actually a very popular character in Japan. Like, everything about him is not very Japanese. Like, he's a loner, he's by himself, he's like a billionaire who's like, it's very counter to a lot of sort of anime heroes. And so when they brought us on board, what they really wanted us to do was make it authentically Batman, and they wanted the Japan team to keep it authentically animated. And so they're hoping like that sort of collaboration of cultures was going to make it appeal to both cultures.
And there's a lot of ways you could do that. I mean, it's like, it's not seeing Japan through the eyes of Batman. It's seeing Batman through the eyes of Japan. You know what I mean? It's like their native kind of like, sensibilities to nature, like the idea of that ninja clan and the martial arts there, and then integrating, that story. So bringing him into the past, which is kind of a crucible in Japanese culture. That's kind of what we think of. We think of ninja and samurai and these like Himeji Castle and things like that. So it's like those elements.
Right.
And so I thought that the director and the writer, Japanese screenwriter, turning those things into what we just saw, which is kind of like, completely unique.
Right. And so much I think of Japanese worldview, is colored by Shintoism, and it's just infused into every element of Japanese culture. And so I think you start feeling that in the storytelling. It isn't until Batman loses his technology and starts sort of embracing the ways of Japan and getting back to his roots and finding who he is, and in some ways become more Japanese by sort of becoming part of a group, and able to triumph over the Joker. and ultimately, you know, they defeat like giant robots with monkeys and bats. You know, like that's really about right. Oh, sorry, that's a spoiler.
You're fine.
And that's really, you know, about nature triumphing over technology. And for us, you know, we were trying to tease those things out in the theme so that it kind of played to a Western audience as well.
So, my first question, when I first saw Batman Ninja trailer, my first thought was that there was like a 3 to 5 minute animated short online, Batman anime. And my first thought was, did that inspire you at all, or did one kind of feel the other? Or
Which one are you
I think he's talking about the hand-to-hand combat, like karate one, right?
No, it's like someone actually made a Batman anime style, like 3 to 5 minute video.
Okay.
So when I saw that, I wasn't sure if that...
Is that the Cartoon Network thing? Or the Internet Cartoon Network?
Yeah, we'd heard about that.
I only heard about that afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so
you
I
had
don't
the
know
idea.
how that inspired it, because I know that was a Chinese studio, I believe.
Yeah.
And there is a, like, you know, some
Shanghai
similarities
Batman, I think, was the name.
And so it's just for the last question. Are we gonna...
No. She gets the last.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, you mentioned some of the more difficult parts of having to write with just the raw storyboards and raw dialogue.
Yeah.
But what were some of the most fun parts of screenwriting for Batman Ninja?
You know, I have to say, I'm a huge Batman fan. Like,
good.
He's like by far my favorite hero, and I love his rogues gallery. Like, I just love the villains, and I love the fact that there's so many villains that you write, and just like trying to capture the voices and go, okay, Penguin wouldn't really say that. Like looking up the translation, what would he say? How would he talk? How would Poison Ivy talk? And then like, how do you like capture those characters, because they're more supporting in this than say the Joker, and then trying to give the Joker a flavor, because the Joker, like, he has to feel like the Joker, but he's also in that sort of anime genre vein of sort of those fey villains, you know, and he's probably the feyest Joker, I think, that we probably had.
Very possibly, yes.
And I would say, aside from the thematic things that we talked about, like the nature and the transformation, all that, I think that there is, in this piece, there's kind of like an episodic nature to it, right? And so we wanted each of those to stand on its own, because that's how they were made, but at the same time, kind of like really make sure that there's like a whole complete story, you know, in the 90 minutes. Because, you know, that section in the middle, that it's like a painting, you know, when the Joker is like, you know, farming, you're like, how, like, at different moments, it could give energy or take energy away. We had to want to make sure balance those things. So.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much
Guys,
for your time.
thank you.
I appreciate it.